welcome to this week's episode of Fan TV. I'm Amber.
And I'm Emma, and on this week's show we've got the news around the league.
We will look at the game review panel and the DOPS.
We look at a preview of our upcoming home game.
We will take a look at a few exclusive interviews from players and coaches.
The latest offers from the shop.
And most importantly, don't forget to like and subscribe to keep in contact with everything we do here at Peterborough Phantoms. Last week, Saturday the 6th, the following got sent to the game review panel. Romford Raiders, Jack Cooper and Joe Tomalin both received 1 point for fighting, whereas Telford, Eric Henderson and James Smith also received 1 point for fighting, with James Smith also receiving a 5-minute major.
Sunday there was a bit more of a spicy affair, with 6 points for fighting over Sheffield, Basingstoke and Leeds and Solway. Also one with Bristol for boarding and one for Solway for a 10-minute game misconduct.
DOPS news for this week. On Saturday, nothing was referred. However, Slava Kulikov, head coach of Sheffield Steel Dogs, wanted a review on the hit of Dave Phillips, which resulted in Phantoms Luke Ferrara receiving 5 penalty points.
On Sunday, Solway Sharks Liam Stenton took a 4-game ban and got the team 4 penalty points for taking a unsportsmanlike conduct while shooting a puck at an official. So on Saturday we faced the Sheffield Steel Dogs. It went to overtime, which secured both teams in a place for the Cup semi-final. However, on Sunday we went to Hull and then lost in overtime and took the 1 point.
Now on to news around the league. Our Cup finalists have now been confirmed. The Steel Dogs finished top of the table, with Leeds and Swindon finishing in 2nd and 3rd place, and the Phantoms in 4th. It was down to Sheffield to pick their opponents first, and as possibly most people thought, they selected us and left Leeds to face Swindon. The schedule will be released soon, with all 4 games being completed before the 31st of January.
I'm joined by Cam Hough. Thank you for joining us, Cam. I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. Look at maybe the season. We're about approaching the halfway mark now, roughly, of the season. I mean, you're currently going into the weekend sitting top of the goal scoring charts for the league. That I know you've always, last season and now obviously this season, you've obviously got yourself a reputation as a goal scorer. Things obviously have started to click quite well with you, Feds and Yanni on that line, sort of reunited now. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. In terms of the goal scoring thing, I kind of see it like fantasy hockey or fantasy football. It kind of goes up and down the whole way and you don't really know to the end. But yeah, I'm happy kind of in the position I am. Obviously last year with kind of being close but being 3 back of the title, so that was kind of my goal going into this year and trying to live up to that. Team-wise, I think we've had our ups and downs. We had a bit of a slump there, but I think last 5-6 games, maybe even 7 games, I think we've managed to steal at least 1 point out of all of them. So yeah, I think we're sitting in a good spot. I think a bit above expectations of what some people thought maybe going into the start of the year. So yeah, overall I think things have been good up and down, and yeah, I'm excited for the second half as well.
Awesome. And at this point, Phantoms have also qualified for the Cup semis as well, so that must be quite a good feeling for you, knowing through to round where it's going to be sort of do or die every single game. Yeah,
for sure. It was with last year. It was tough because I think we were tied in points with Romford, but lost the tiebreaker to get in, so that was tough blow for us. Kind of keeps things exciting too throughout the season. I don't want to say that you have nothing to play for, because obviously games matter, but there's a big slump if you don't make Cup from end of November all the way till you're waiting till April for playoffs. So yeah, it's good to kind of have something like that, and it was one of the goals Ash put forward at the start of the year. We were super close last year, and we were able to just squeak in, and I thought overall for our Cup games, everybody kind of bought in, and yeah, it's definitely good for the club.
Absolutely. And you mentioned slump. We have had a little bit of a lull in the results, even at home as well. Away's obviously been more of a challenge anyway this season. How have you and the guys, just generally the team, sort of approached the adversity and found ways to bounce back?
I think one of the things, we had a few games where we started quite slow and were able to come back. For example, the Bristol one, we were down 3-0 after the first and ended up getting up to 5-3 for us. So I think it was one of those things when we were down in those games, and I think we're on a 3 or 4 game losing streak, that we've done it before. We know it's possible. So I think it it's not a good habit to have, to get down and know you can come back, but it's one of those things that's kind of in the back of the guy's mind, no matter what the score is after the first period. I think at the start we were kind of like, okay, the game's kind of out of our hands, like kind of give up sort of thing, but a lot of guys have found adversity to push through and know that we have the team that can always, you know, score 4 goals in a period if we need to. So yeah, it was just one of those things, you know, when I think 5-6 games straight of not a win and then losing at home in front of the home fans is tough. Just kind of regroup, know what kind of team we have, and then kind of build from there. And I think we got out of it, and now we're kind of on and up, and you never want to get too high or too low. So trying to, you know, stay in the middle and just, you know, take what we can get.
Totally. Obviously, a lot of games gone to extra time, overtime, shootout this season. Do you relish that? Because again, sudden death, shootouts, a lot of high pressure situations.
Yeah, I think we've been to 10 this year already. Yeah. I think we're 5-5, so split down the middle. But yeah, a lot of close games, and I think it really shows how much closer the league is this year than last year. I think there's a lot more, you know, kind of blowouts and not as many close games as there is this year. But yeah, overall, I think, you know, it is tough, especially in overtime, because it's one of those things you want to jump up in the play, but you want to be able to get back as well, and you don't want to overcommit. So sometimes you kind of find yourself playing safe, and then other times you go for it. But I think overall, shootouts we've been pretty good too. But again, it's definitely tough in some rinks, especially with our ice. The ice can get bad sometimes by the time the shootout comes around. So, but overall, yeah, I think it's been a lot different than last year.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's fair. Last couple of questions. First one, obviously we had Saturday night off, Solway at home. Obviously placed Solway away and come out with 4 points. That must be feeling pretty confident going into that game on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of our second weekend with just one game this weekend. So yeah, it'll be good. It's one of those things where are we more rested, or is the other team in more shape because they played the night before, sort of thing. So I think being on home ice, we've done well against them so far. I think it's just coming out strong and not letting that first or second period slump happen, and playing, you know, full 60 minutes instead of just half a game and fighting our way back. So I think if we come out strong first 20 minutes, I don't think we have a problem on Sunday.
Awesome. Not strictly hockey related, but since it is the end of the year, what is your Apple Music Replay top artist or song?
My top artist is Zach Bryan, and I think my top song of the year is Missed Call by Treaty Oak Revival.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, I'm sure people will be happy to hear that, or maybe they won't. They leave a comment. But thanks very much for your time.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers. I'm kindly joined by Ash Tait. Ash, thank you, first of all, for giving us a little bit of time. So we're around about the halfway point of the season. Obviously, this has been an interesting bit of a roller coaster of a season so far. How would you summarise what we've seen so far? What's to come?
Yeah, it's probably slightly inconsistent. I think we started off possibly, you know, we were getting results, we were getting 2 points somehow or other, and then, you know, some nights we've played really well and got nothing out of it. But I think the important thing is just consistency, making sure we're picking up points week in, week out, even when we're not playing well. So I think, you know, I had this similar question not long ago, and I think I was around a C. If you're looking at it that way, I think, yeah, obviously we've kind of progressed in the cup since then. So yeah, I think probably, I don't want to say going to plan, but yeah, I guess fairly pleased.
You don't have to go into much detail on this, but were there any specific goals or accomplishments or sort of anything, targets that you had for the guys as a team or even individually that you wanted to sort of meet, and how was your progress going towards those?
I think you always want to be involved in all the trophies, which, you know, we like we said, we progressed in the cup, 4th place in the league, albeit kind of that top 3 are sort of putting a little bit of a gap between 3rd and ourselves, and even, you know, you could kind of throw a blanket over a handful of clubs that are all in and around that mid-table. So I think for us it's trying to stay consistent, put points on the board each week, and make sure we keep climbing, put some distance between ourselves and those below us, and then obviously try and close the gap above.
I like looking at the league table at the moment because we are above MK. But that aside, sorry, Lightning fans, but but that aside, it's great to see we are in the position that we're in. But we've had a couple of rough weeks. You kind of said about that already. But is it hard to sort of rally the troops, get things back, and sort of leave things when they don't go, leave them behind you, and move on?
I think we're better in that sense now than we were earlier in the season. Earlier, there were games where we'd go a couple of goals down and kind of, pack the tent and go home, whereas the last couple of weeks we've gone down and we've managed to claw our way back. So I think that resilience is there, it's building, which is pleasing for me. And I think, it just shows guys that actually, just to have that belief that, it's a 60-minute game, and I keep saying, the games where we've not competed, kind of Milton Keynes on the road, Swindon on the road, Sheffield on the road, we just haven't started well. We haven't put 60 minutes together, and you have to do that. And when games are getting away from you, you have to realise that quickly and try and turn them around.
That's fair, yeah. Because I suppose you look at, again, in fairness, you look at recently. Obviously, we had the double header in Solway, which did come out with max points, but we have had quite a hard season away from home, haven't we?
Yeah, I think like I said, that it's that resilience and that consistency piece where. You go to, I say it every week to Bob, it's you can't go anywhere and not be ready, because, as much as, I think probably the biggest score of the year was 10-1 last weekend, Swindon and Solway, but the other side, Solway have been into Sheffield and got points, so it doesn't matter. And I think you saw that last year, and I think it's more evident this year is the sort of it's a lot closer across the board, and the league table generally doesn't lie, but day in, day out, if you're not ready, you're going to get turned over.
That's true, I suppose. Is there anything that you can do more, like some people may say, we've earlier in the season our second periods weren't quite so great. I think some people may even criticise to say that maybe we haven't started some games so well either, and we've been chasing leads. Obviously last weekend was a sort of a similar situation to that in a way, but bigger game, I suppose, against Sheffield. But is there anything that you're doing or you have in mind when you come out thinking of those of how performances past of sort of what they set us up for later in the games as well?
I think the biggest thing for me is just making sure we start on time. It's not, you can't wait, because it's not a conscious decision. Nobody comes out and just doesn't get going till the second period. It sometimes happens. It's how you manage it. But I think, that's the thing for me. It's, you can't give teams leads where the games that we mentioned on the road, we've given teams 2, 3, 4 goal head starts, and then we've decided we're going to get ourselves together and start playing. Well, by then it's too late. So the biggest thing is to make sure we start from first face-off. Games changed very, very quickly. But it's, again, as I said, it's making sure that we start games on time, we show up every single game, and we put ourselves in a position to make sure we get points, whether it's 1 or 2 points, and whether it's in 60 minutes or 65 or a shootout. It's just to keep ticking that box when we, so we can just sort of keep ourselves in the hunt, really.
How have you been finding it as well? Obviously, the travel's been, I guess, an additional dimension for you as well in terms of being able to sort of manage your week as well as obviously the team and keep things going.
Yeah, not an easy task. Tuesdays are easier just because kind of work I can combine that travel. But yeah, it's there's been a few occasions where I've had to pull over and just close my eyes for 20 minutes because you're at the end of a long day. So sure. It's just managing that and kind of making sure that I'm prepared when I get to the rink, just purely because it's a lottery with the M25 and M1 and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of something I'm having to deal with that I haven't had to before. But hopefully it's not having a negative impact.
Excellent. And just finally as well, with obviously you've had Nathan Pollard and obviously you've had some help from Tom Norton as well, particularly while he's been absent or injury. I know you said before about Yanni also, has a little bit of an input coaching wise and things. How have you sort of been keeping that as a coaching team together?
It's just conversation really. It's, very rarely you know, you don't have all the answers and games change quickly, and sometimes it's, I mean, if you were there, some coaches who work alone and don't have anyone to just put ideas to, or, you know, a soundboard must go insane quite quickly. You know, sometimes it's just, you know, I don't think that's working. What do you think about that, or changing that, and it's just a conversation. And to be fair to Polly, he still knows these. You know, he's grown up with a lot of them, and he knows them a lot better than I do. So that gives me sort of that added insight into what someone's capable of, or maybe combinations that have played together before. And yeah, it's just a different dimension.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much for your time, Ash, and we look forward to seeing the guys on Sunday.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now let's take a look at this week's opponents. Jordan Marr of Solway Sharks is likely to be the starting netminder, whereas Hayden Levine is likely to be the starting netminder for the Peterborough Phantoms. Jordan Marr's save percentage is currently 87.11, which puts them in 12th position in the league. His goals against average currently stand at 4.94, which places him in 15th. Currently in the league, he has faced 698 shots. On to Peterborough Phantoms netminder Hayden Levine. His current save percentage is 90.98, which puts him in 5th place. His goals against average currently stand at 3.96%, which puts him 9th. However, Hayden Levine has faced the most shots in the league with an outstanding 1,075 goals against.
It's quite a lot, isn't it?
It's massive.
Massive. So in terms of actually point scorers and goal scorers within the league, Sharks' top goal scorer and point scorer is both Dylan Stewart. So he's in 12th with his 15 goals, and he's got 32 points, which makes him 17th in the league for a point scorer. Whereas with the Phantoms, our top goal scorer is Cam Hough, in first place with 26 goals, and remaining in first place is Luke Ferrara, top of the game with 14 goals and 32 assists. Both in Phantoms, Luke, Cam and Yanni are all in the top 10 for scoring in the league.
Own and loan shirts are still available to purchase either online on the website or in the shop on matchnight. Matchnight experiences are also available to purchase, which make wonderful Christmas presents for your little ones. These include bench visits, matchnight mascots, puck drops, or even birthday packages. Also, a competition that is running, and Image Exclusive Studios are running a competition to win all expenses paid photo shoot for any hockey loving family worth up to £795.
Just as a reminder, they did post it earlier this week that the Christmas party has had to be cancelled, sadly, due for unforeseen circumstances. To get your refund, please do visit them in Skate Hire on game night to process the refund. In terms of any merch that we've got going on, we've got 2 new merches directly. So we've got the calendars available. Amber, what's your favourite page?
My favourite is December, which shows this wonderful image of Joe Gretton and Archie Salisbury having a fight.
Perfect. I think mine would be the goal celebration directly, you know. Lots of happy faces, and that's what we love. But also, this is signed on the front by all of the team, and you've got a nice photo of Luke Ferrara on the back with Cam Hough. This is also £6. Get them while stocks last, and there's also a themed puck to add you to all of your collections. You can buy them in store for £5, and they say Merry Christmas with a very nice picture of the Phantoms logo on. Last week we asked what is the question?
Bit of both, maybe combine the two.
Blazing on the beach.
Yeah, adventure. I can't lay down, it bores me.
I think I'd say adventure, to be honest.
Oh, definitely adventure.
Laying on the beach.
Adventure on the beach.
Probably adventure.
The answer was, do you prefer an adventure or a beach holiday? Amber, what's your preference?
I think it's got to be an adventure holiday. I get
Okay.
bored just sitting there on a sun lounger. I'm more for going out, sightseeing. Yeah.
Fair.
If you like the show, make sure to like and subscribe. Tickets for the game are still available either online or at the box office. If you can't make the game, we have a live stream, which the link you will find in the description below. Thanks for watching. My name is Amber.
And I'm Emma, and if you've not enjoyed this show, we're Dan.
Thank you. Good night.